back to the channel, fool. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for like videos like this.
In the Truman Show, there's a specific moment where Truman has that epiphany. So in that movie, Truman's walking down the road, and all of a sudden a light fixture falls out of the sky and crashes right in front of him. And he's like, it had really nothing to do with the light. The light was a symbol. It wasn't really supposed to be a light. It was supposed to be a light in his head. It's like that moment of aha, or something that makes him realize it's not real, right? So Truman picks up the light, and of course, you're not gonna ever see this unless you pause it at the exact moment. It's called an Easter egg. And it's an Easter egg they put in for very specific people to see. And on this light, which is the light where Truman has that awakening moment, it says Sirius Canis Major. For that to be random, to me, is impossible. It's just strange because here I am, the thing that was a spark for me was the Dogon with Sirius Canis Major. There's no other culture on Earth that talks about Sirius, besides Egypt, but that talks about the orbital tracks or anything. And at the same time, I want to point out that the Queen's Chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza also points towards Sirius.
Is Earth a reality show for beings watching from Sirius? Free pizza next corner. And if it's a child, where are the parents? And all I see is a winner.
You want to go first, Brett?
Yeah, sure. Fuck, sign me up.
来，我把虫子给你，把钱放下来，把钱放在地下来，放地下。你看，还懂得用脚踩，他不肯呢。解决了，你把钱放地下来，我给你吃的，把钱放地下来，放地下。啊，完了。
Getting scammed by a bird is crazy. Caveman technologia.
Guys, I really can't make this up right now. Everybody inside this bus is getting scanned up, guys. Everybody inside the bus is getting scanned up. And they have no idea what's going on. None. Look, they start scanning you up once you turn off. Once they close the door, they start scanning you up, guys. Once you close the door and you start going, they start scanning you up. They have no idea, guys. Everybody inside that bus is getting scanned up.
It's not the squatting part that bothers me, but where is the door?
This is a great one if you want to see MK Ultra technology in action. It's one step beyond the sacred mushroom, where Puharish...
One step beyond the sacred mushroom.
One step beyond is the show name, and it's the sacred mushroom. It's on YouTube, and it's Puharish is there flashing lights in people's eyes, hypnotizing them to make them psychic. There's a portion, there it is.
Science is not yet given it
Right there. Keep going.
So if you don't, it's kind of hard to...
That's the early photic and magnetic stimulator that that MK Ultra was using. Puharish developed to put people in their states. Yeah, it's an American version of the Lita machine from Russia.
Lower your head a little bit. A little more. Now.
Sounds awful.
It does. Sounds diabolical.
I see it. Now I see it. I see so many things I can't tell you. Can't you slow it? Slow it? Now I see but I see so many colors that are... Go... Are they pretty? In geometric signs, now it's like great things. They're magnificent, is what they are. They're magnificent. I have never been so aware of color. Of color.
What is this thing actually doing?
It makes me
After this, he goes off and does psychic testing on him and finds that he became much more accurate choosing cards. So it's opening up psychic ability. That was the intent, at least. But it's putting him in a hypnotic state. And this is his testing.
Incidentally, the word system comes from a Latin word. The Latins in Rome, the ancient Romans called their sewer the system. And this is where we get our word today, the system. Yeah, and consequently, that's where we are, is in a sewer. Now, if we understand that government is corrupt, and God knows now even the most ignorant among this nation are finally waking up to the fact that the whole thing is corrupt. Banks are corrupt. Our law enforcement are corrupt. No institutions in this country are above taking money under the table and looking the other way, and it's become a way of life, and soon it will be for America a way of death. Once you understand that the entire system we're living under is corrupt and filled with lies and deception, and now the best thing you could do if you're a politician is just kind of keep things going, just kind of keep paying people off and hoping everything will come out all right tomorrow. And little by little by little, what goes around comes around, and we are facing a terrible time of judgment, I believe, by the divine forces in the universe, which men have called God.
Hey, do y'all see this? It's a saucer. Y'all see that? I am not crazy. There's a saucer.
It's the weather machine.
What? And for real?
No, I don't know.
My mommy's crazy.
Okay, so I'm walking back to the house, and I see this guy standing there. And I'm like, why does he look so weird? So I start walking closer, and closer, and closer, and closer, and wait. That's not a guy at all. That's just a shadow. And the pillar makes it look like an optical illusion. See?
It's all about perspective.
I think on one side of it, I think we really do have an entire subspecies of creatures that do exist mostly inside the earth, and they are not readily surface dwelling anymore. And I do believe, like in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, man, inside the London Bridge is a massive room, like a throne room, where they engage in this magic. But this Brotherhood of the Serpent, they call upon Nahash, the dragon. And
would that be in normal terms Satan?
Yeah, most people know him as Satan, right? Yeah. But like there is a great red dragon. Like it's a physical, that's what he looks like in reality. He was cursed, and man, he made him a monster. Yahweh made him a monster. And they would commune with these things. There's 13 grandfathers take 13 of their grandsons, and they bring them into these rooms and do these things on these specific times and rituals for all kinds of stuff. But the dragons tell them the future. This is like always what they've been able to do. Is Satan leads Yeshua up onto a great high place and says, I shows him all the nations of the earth and all their kingdoms and their reigns in a moment of time. He shows them the future. That's what they do. They can show you what's to come. This is why we get hunted by them. He knows if we're going to be part of his adversaries. He knows if we're going to be on his enemy list. And that's why he targets us at our youth. That's what so happens. So many people, they're like, why has my life been a nightmare from the beginning? It's because you have a purpose and a destiny that adversary absolutely categorically does not want to come to pass. It's a real life Terminator scenario. And so he sends his assets in to destroy people, to ruin their life. And those meeting places happen when they sit down in these rooms and they try to call up these creatures. It's from inside the earth. It wasn't like ethereal mist. They were physical things that would come out of these tunnels, and they would come into the room and they would consume the offerings that were given there. And then the words of the Nahash would come forth, and they would prophesy to these guys. Like they would prophesy out of the mouth of the serpent what each one of their life callings, their shots. He's the shot caller, man. It's like a pimp from prison. He's calling the shots, and you had a bunch of fallen watchers that were in prison in Tartarus for a reason. Yeah, but they got ways of getting messages out, just like the cronies in jail today, and that's what a lot of people are dealing with. They think they're dealing with the top dog, and they're like, I'm finally into the big game. And it's like you're dealing with, a private in the hierarchy, but he can masquerade like a general. And so some people are really dealing with death himself, and some of them are dealing with one of his princes. And this is what my family's covenant was with the dragon. They didn't mess around, man. They went all the way to the chain of command. They uncovered a bunch of, my great-grandfather's grandfather was an archaeologist who dug into Indian mounds out in the Ohio River Valley. And they started finding a priest class that was these serpent worshipers. And that's what they started calling upon. And they started trying to wake up and rise up Huachiblos, which is these deities, these dragon fire deities.
And made in China. When your mom tells you to go play outside.
And so a lot of how it works in the families is you got two main approaches. If you've got unlimited access to wealth, power, like really, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about power, unlimited raw power, where a phone call, the phone book, is far more powerful than the bank account because it's who you know can open doors to power anywhere else in the entire world. So you can leave with nothing, but then you can go build. And if you need the phone book, there's a price to be paid. And the price to be paid is generally one of your children. It seems bizarre to some, but a child is generally a chosen child out of the family is given over as an offering to the family. And they're the ones who's going to go through this left-hand path. They're going to experience the desecration of their soul, their identity, and they're going to become an agent for the family that is owned completely. And there's like a legal trustee that is given over to it. There's a board of directors that sits over it. Like these are real legal confines for how the wealth is distributed out there. In order to build your empire, you've got to be able to go prove yourself. And where I was born, that is a place that's a high place, Mount Humphreys. It's a volcanic peaks that sit there. The top of it is where the Hopi Indian and a lot of people had gathered forever to commune with the fallen. They believed that the sons of the sky would come down every season at the winter solstice, and they would abide from the winter solstice to the summer solstice there. This was a place where they would give their daughters over to them. This is Hopi mythology, like 101. You know, they would make these Kachina dolls, which were an effigy of what I would say is a watcher angel that would come, and the daughter would be given to him, and she would place that over her bed throughout her life, you know, and that's her familiar spirit. That's where I was born into. And the people that still practice that old religion, that's the way I refer to it, they still do this. And they still take their children up there to give them over to them on these high days. And so I was born into that, and I was born through that seed line and into that ritual magic world.
You can't even be mad.
There's this structure that exists off the coast of California at the bottom of the ocean that looks odd, very odd. It looks very constructed. It looks man-made or intelligent in its construction. And I was just looking at something on Google Earth the other day where people are having a hard time finding it now, and they're thinking that it's perhaps obscured.
Obscured, yeah.
See if you can find that, because I
saw that. I know what you're talking about.
You saw it as well?
I saw it as well, and it was certainly interesting.
It looked very weird. You know, it looked like some sort of a base. It was flat on the top, and it looked like it had openings in it.
Let's see, I lost your sound. Is there?
Oh, you did? Jamie, maybe it's your headphones, or did you step on something? You hear me now?
No, I mean, I just hear you through the air, but not.
Listen, we're going to take a break right now because I got to use the restroom anyway, and Jamie will fix it, and we'll be right back. Had a little tactical snafu, use the restroom, and we're back. So I forget exactly where we're at, but I know where I wanted to go. Where I wanted to go is we're talking about potential sources of energy, potential sources of propulsion systems. How much do you consider the possibility that the things that people are seeing are ours? They're made in some top secret program using some advanced
tactical snafu was the hint.
favorite song by her? Is that like, that's like a impossible question, I think. It's Beyonce? Like, I'm gonna have to go with everything.
Yeah, just have a great day, and I'm about to go have dinner, so it smells really good, so I gotta go.
The Zendaya theory still haunts me to this day.
Mermaids are attractive. Mermen are not. That's what you're witnessing here is a merman. I'm president of the Mermaid Society. I know what I'm talking about.
And is the moon okay?
엘리베이터가 여기 있네. 3층에 어딨지? 피곤해. Yeah, I'm third floor. How about you? What floor?
This one, third floor.
Third floor? Okay. You here for tours? Where are you from?
Zamboanga.
Zamboanga? Very far. I heard it's very maganda though. I'm here. What is your room number?
Huh?
Your room number?
No.
It's...
Ini begini.
Pardon?
Ini mana gua yang round number?
Huh?
Ini mana gua yang round number?
Pardon?
Ini mana gua?
계속 어떤 분이 따라오셔가지고. Did you reserve the your rooms? You don't have your rooms? Hello, he's keep following me.
Sir?
He's keep following me, so
Do you know him, sir?
I don't know.
Sir, kailan niya, sir? Ang meet at social media, sir, at no?
Pardon?
You meet at Facebook, sir?
No.
No? Okay, sir. Sir, sir, I'll just call the bunch.
Okay.
Just stay here, sir.
Golden rule, never turn your back on a stranger. Sensory food. It's nuts out there. If you can smell it, you can feel it.
I zoomed in on things that should be behind 60 feet of curvature or more, and I could see them. So I immediately defaulted to, well, the Earth is just bigger. The curvature formula is wrong. And then when I went and verified these things, we can see too far. And then everything else started falling into place. Like water needs to be contained. What the science of water is, water at rest lies flat. And it needs to be contained. A pond, it has a shoreline that's higher than the water, right? Lower some of that shoreline and the water will flow away because it needs to be contained. So the world is like a big pond. All of the oceans of the world, think of it as a pond. All of the continents, think of them as just islands. And what's containing our pond? Well, the highest land on Earth, by more than double the next average height of any continent, is Antarctica. Antarctica is more than double the height of any other continent on average. So Antarctica is the shoreline around our world.
Well, how do you explain when they go up in space and look down and the Earth is a globe?
Yeah. So NASA admits they don't have any photos of Earth. They say they're all put together in composite. The one picture that showed up was called on everyone's iPhone when the iPhones came out was called the Blue Marble. And Robert Simon, who's a NASA visual artist, explained in an interview that he made it all from data, and he used Command Z a lot, and he stamped clouds in there using the same clouds multiple times, and he literally made it in Photoshop, and he admits it. NASA admits they don't have any real photos of Earth other than one that was taken from the moon in 1972 or whatever year it was, and that's called the Blue Marble. I forget what they call that one, but we took that picture that NASA took right off their website. We put it into Photoshop, and we cranked up the levels, and the Earth had a box around it, like it was cut and pasted right in there from NASA's website. Yeah.
Well, why would they want us to believe that it's round?
There we go. We're already there. That's a very good question. That's where we all default to. And we'll get into that more. But the reason they want you to believe you live on a ball is because they're hiding who we truly are. They're hiding more resources. Think about this. Every war, what is that about? Land, resources, power.
Ports.
Right? What if there's more land? What if they tell us there's 8 or 9 continents or whatever the number is now?
Welcome to the jungle. Borrachão, borrachão.
It has to be, yeah. Yeah, wait, why is it coming this way? Wait, oh my god, why is it doing that?
Spirits, take it or leave it.
Hello? The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my god. Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on honest. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
Oh, there's no... He's trying to smoke it.
All right. Thanks.
There's no way. All right, enough fun and games.
Here.
Again?
Holy hell.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, he's on his way here.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her real quick.
I can tell you, he's already done this before.
Do you think a large percentage of the population are NPCs?
Non-player characters, unfortunately, the default settings of this reality. We come in at a lower level of consciousness. Does everybody stay there? No. If a person is talking and thinking and acting from that state of consciousness, then you could dress up the name, but at the end of the day, it would be fair to call them NPC level of consciousness. From that perspective, there's lot.
Because public school kind of forces you to think that way, right?
See, with public school, that's even harder because logic is supposed to be our firewall. If you're not teaching logic, then now you're just left to the susceptibility of brainwashing. Within every generation, now there's an even more slippery slope going in the direction of not having any type of ability for that critical thinking.
There's a certain frequency you get through by balancing the left and right hemisphere of the brains and then having the mind and heart coherence, where you get into a certain frequency that then allows you to have more influence over the holograms of reality, which pulls to you different synchronicities, opportunities, and things that are in alignment with that energy.
It's like in the Matrix. They call it the flow state. And who thought he was checking that girl out?
The reason why China is so safe is because every 100 meter there is a camera. Under each and every camera there is a flashlight which will turn on if you pass beside it, as you can see. And if you turn your face, you will see there's another camera turning on their flashlight. I'm really far, as you can see. Look how far I am from the camera, and it turns on its flash. And over here, look how far I am, it turns on its flash. And if I walk that way, less than 100 meters, there is a flashlight, will turn on. And all of those are actually packages, as you can see, like deliveries from different kind of companies to the people who live in this place. And no one is actually taking them, like stealing them or something. And these packages, they might have something expensive in here, it might cost thousands of dollars, but no one is actually taking them.
The Earth is set up to be a farm that generates human suffering, which disembodied vampiric entities feed on. Robert Monroe was a scientist whose studies on out-of-body experiences were so significant that he was eventually recruited by the CIA. Through his experiments, he documented what could only be described as inorganic entities who have literally set up the Earth as a garden to farm massive amounts of loosh, energy generated from humans through conflict. According to Monroe, these beings use special, quote, collectors and set up channels to convey loosh to, quote, somewhere. He describes how these collectors intentionally generate storms of turbulence and turmoil to collect more and more loosh. These claims are corroborated by Max Spears, who also described inorganic vampiric entities that are literally addicted to this loosh, particularly those emanated from, disturbingly, young children. He likens these entities to black holes, constantly feeding off human energy. Spears died mysteriously not long after publicizing this. In Carlos Castaneda's work, Shaman Don Juan describes these exact same inorganic beings, and how some sorcerers in the past would deliberately introduce pain and fear into others in order to feed and thus work with these entities. John Lash, in Not in His Image, also describes a race of inorganic beings, or archons, aka demons or jinn, that have manipulated people into convincing them that suffering is a righteous cause for those who inflict it. Could it be that the Earth and its major dramas are literally designed to accumulate massive amounts of conflict and negative energy, which feed higher dimensional parasitic entities? Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
Prism equals prism, prism equals light, and light equals illusion. Even the barber was quiet. And stay awake.
Do you know what the Nada Bindu point is? Nada means sound, Bindu means seed, and a point is a zero dimension reality that is but isn't simultaneously. Each of us is the product of God dreaming itself into existence in a very unique mode of expression that, as I said earlier, only Mary can bring what Mary came to bring. According to Cantor's mathematics, infinity mathematics, a line of any distance has an infinite number of points. So literally, if you just put a dot on the page with a pen, there's an infinite number of points. So the point is the transition from the wave dimension of the spirit world to the physical dimension. So when you start looking at subatomic particles like quarks, gluons, electrons, so look at a photon. Isn't it a miracle that all mass, matter, is photons entangled that are moving at just under the speed of light, but they create the illusion of solidity, but a photon has zero mass. Not a Bindu point is the transition point at which the no thing of God, the emptiness of God, Shakti, the womb, intelligent energy, manifests as information, but God's dream, the flow of spirit information, comes into formation, and there's your geometry. So the geometry is the foundation of the dream, which creates the matrix within which the hollow movement takes place. So just like we look at a plasma screen television, pixels made of plasma that illuminate the image, if you now take that into, you know, any dimensional model you want, but we're familiar with 4D linked with depth and time, what looks to us to be solid, like if you build a house, it seems like you're building the house, you're digging the trench and all that, but just like a movie unfolds, you could watch a movie of a house being built, but if the movie is in 4D and you're in it, then you don't realize that you're actually God dreaming itself into existence in real time. Point being, not a sound. The sound Om is what happens when God looks into itself. That's the master symbol of all sound, and sound in metaphysics and in yoga includes all frequencies, not just audible frequencies. So if you study, for example, Hazrat Inyat Khan's teachings on Sufism, Sufis use the term sound to encapsulate all frequency. So anything that God dreams falls into the category of sound. And the Nada Bindu point is the point at which the flow of spirit produces sound that organizes matter, just as you see in cymatics, where you put frequency under a metal plate, like stroke it with a violin bow, and you get geometrical forms. So the Nada Bindu point really is the point at which the dream manifests, and the ether is the stem cell through which the Nada Bindu points cause differentiation. So just like a stem cell in your body can become eyes, ears, nose, teeth, fingernails, hair, bone, liver, tissue, the Nada Bindu through the ether carries the sound which creates the image and the form, and the ether then takes the shape that gives the basis for that structure. So that's the spirit gym conception, but it's really very much in line with what you're saying, just using different words.
That's deep knowledge. Watch it again.
In the Pt.127 region of Guatemala, they have just uncovered a discovery that will change the course of humanity forever. I don't know if you've heard about this, but here you can see them digging, and they come across the top of a pyramid here, and they're kind of speculators of like what it is. And as it gets deeper and deeper, the writing on it, I shouldn't call it writing. It's actually a type of Egyptian writing, an Egyptian petroglyphs, if you might call it that, but it's not quite Egyptian. The scientists are calling it a reformed Egyptian because it's a little bit different. But again, this is in Guatemala. This happened last week. These diggers are trying to show us what is on here. You can see now, look, here's some photos. It looks like some sort of sarcophagi under there, and then this pyramid next to it. And as they get closer, look at that. It looks like an alien being. They said that all the writing shows that it shows the word for cousin, and then it shows the word for sky. And so it's saying sky cousins. They're about to open the sarcophagi in part 2 of this video, and it is going to blow your mind, the type of bonage that they find in here and the fleshage that they find throughout the sarcophagi. But I will post that in part 2. First, I want to look at this. Doesn't that look like aliens? again, this is like a reformed Egyptian, but it's showing aliens, and apparently it shows the history of the world, but not just for humanity, but for another species that has been living amongst us. Again, this is breaking news. It's going to change the course of humanity forever. I'm going to post in part 2 what we see in that sarcophagi. So it's going to blow your mind. That's all I can say. So buckle up and hold on to your seatbelts.
Fake or not? And now let's dive deep into this new rabbit hole.
Shabuski, how you feeling, man?
Feeling amazing. I'm feeling great, man.
What are you wearing? Who you wearing?
Hey, Shabuzi. Mind stepping out here and turning this way for me? Shabuzi, say hi to Esquire.
Shabuzi, can you step out a little bit?
Shabuzi, are we having?
Shabuzi, who you wearing? Shabuzi!
Can I get one over here?
Over here, left.
Over here?
Wow.
Thank you.
Let me get you right here, man.
This stuff is so deep, and each area is interconnected to another. Look who's not invited. Look who's not invited. Traditionalists, faith-based leaders, working class heroes, veterans. Nope. Nope. This party ain't for those folks. The people who built the country. It's for those who are building something else, something darker. You think I'm exaggerating? And notice how the media fawn over it. They'll tell you it's empowering and it's inspiring and revolutionary, but they'll never question who funds it, or what it promotes, or why the same imagery pops up in elite circles from Davos to Hollywood. They're in on it. If you know, you know. This is a very important moment. I want you to listen. This is a warning. The Met Gala isn't the end of the world, but it's a symptom of something sick in the culture. A hyper-stylized distraction that reveals the rot in our institutions and the consolidation of spiritual and financial power. It's not a costume party. It's not cosplay. It's a message to the rest of the world. We own this world. But here's the thing. The curtain's slipping. Americans are waking up. We're waking up. Our crew. Remember, most people aren't in our team. They, bless their heart, they're simpler. Faith and family and freedom, they still mean something to us. Even if they don't get a red carpet. And what I thought was really corny, it's the bedrock. It's the foundation of who we are. So while they dance in masks under chandeliers, just remember something. It's not about envy. No. It's about vigilance. Watch closely. Read the symbols and connect the dots, because they're not even hiding it. They're not even hiding it. So let's look at some of the breakdown and some of the past ones. Maybe you didn't realize this. Since 2015, exposing the occult and the esoteric and the elite undercurrents, hidden in plain sight. This isn't fashion. This is ritual theater of the New World Order. Okay, you may not remember this. Let's look at 2015. What was the theme? China through the looking glass. Isn't that nice? The occult undertone, illusion, duality, Oriental mysticism. It was homage to Chinese fashion. It was a plunge into mirror worlds and ancient symbolism. Looking glass is code for inversion, deception, and alternate realities. Think Alice in Wonderland meets MK Ultra. This theme was about control through illusion, exoticizing the East, while echoing the esoteric idea that nothing is what it seems. See, they don't pick anything just because springtime. Oh, no. Then 2016, Manus Ex Machina. Remember this? Fashion in an age of technology. So what was the undertone? Transhumanism, techno-Gnosticism, post-human future. Elon Musk types, well, not him per se, but they love this one. Celebs dressed like cyborgs and android priestesses. This was the elite nodding toward the man and machine, you know, the synthetic future. Predictive programming meets haute couture, a flashy celebration of the technocratic age, worshiping the god of AI. 2017. I'm going to be pronouncing this incorrectly, but it's Rei Kawakubo. Comme des garçons. Remember, garçons, I believe, are boys. Or art of the in-between. Now, this is why I'm not a member of this. The occult overtone, liminal space, gender erasure, the fragmentation of identity. I like the word liminal, and as you know, I will, like there's subliminal. Liminal is occupying a position on or at both sides of a border. It's like a threshold relating to a transitional or initial stage of a process. Liminal space, subliminal. In between, remember what this is. This is called in between, the art of the in between. In between is an occult phrase, neither here nor there, not male, not female, not alive, not dead. This year, glorified. This was not your glorified ambiguity, a core concept in Luciferian and Gnostic teachings. Dismantling the binary is not just political, it's metaphysical warfare. Where do you think non-binary came from? Identity is broken down to be reconstructed in their image, okay? 2018. See this? Heavenly bodies, fashion, and the Catholic imagination. You can't believe this. Occult overtone, desecration of sacred symbols, mockery of Christianity. One of the most blatantly esoteric galas. Rihanna as the Pope, crosses turned into accessories, sacred iconography made into, runway props. It wasn't just sacrilege. It was a power move. This was Luciferian fashion dripping in blasphemy. They weren't honoring religion. They were owning it, turning it upside down. Then in 2019, Camp, Notes on Fashion. This one in particular, this was 2018. This was, I'm going to check this out. Met, Gala.
And that's a wrap on this episode, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.